Okay, so I just want to make sure that we have the shooting thing done and the moving about. So I'm going to do this really quick and clean as a reference versus going through the class, okay? So this is normal. We know about this. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to call this layout. I'm going to change it to main. And that's all fine for now. I also want to make this called the main sheet. So I'm going to call that main underscore sheet, okay? We also know that I want to add another layout here because I want to kind of create that repository or like a library. So I'm just going to do that. Add layout only, and I'm going to call that objx because that's where my objects are going to go, right? So for now, I'm going to go to main up here on main, and I'm going to add a sprite. I do that by double clicking, go to my sprite, and I'm just going to put an instance out there. I do want to change the size, I think, to 200. I'm going to say in the center, okay. I'm going to hit the folder. I'm going to bring in my mushroom. Okay, boom, we're done. So I have that sprite on my stage now. I know that I want to name him, so he's going to be called Mush. I'm going to keep him as is. He is a sprite. All of this stuff, the other stuff doesn't really matter. I do want to add that behavior that we did before, which is the 8 direction. Once I add the 8 direction, we're okay right here. But then I can edit this a little bit because you can see some of these things. I got max speed here. Let's make him move pretty quick at like 500. Don't care about that and have the deceleration down. Interestingly enough, though, right now he can go in all 8 directions. We want to 8-bit this, so I'm going to make it just 4 directions. And you could tell what that means. It's just up, down, left, and right, right? So now when I preview this, there he goes. Like that just seems to, whoa! Off he goes and he's good to go. I definitely want to change that. How he just did that, I don't know. That's definitely not 4 direction. Oh, 90-degree intervals, that's right. Okay. So there we go. So now he's at 90 degrees and he just moves about. Next up, I know I want this little bugger to shoot something, so I'm going to go over here to objects because that's going to be my library, right? So I click on objects at the top. I click on, well, no, I'm just going to go ahead and click on sprite here. This time I want to make it a lot smaller than I did before, so I'm just going to say aspect ratio, keep, and I'm going to say 100, 100, and we're okay. So there we go. And I'm going to go old school here, and I'm going to make this. That. I know that it's off there, so I got to get this little dotted one to highlight it, and then I can move it wherever I want. I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to get a square here. Go like that. And I'm going to draw. Make things a little bit more gray, maybe. And wow. And then I'm going to do yellow. And really make this look like it's going to explode. Look at that. I mean, gosh, golly. So now I have to do nothing. I'm just going to close that because I have this object now. I want to get mush on here too. And I'm going to put my bomb here. And then we can do things to it. Like I said, we'll get into all of that other stuff later. What I do know is I want this to have, just like mush, I want them to have what I want to call it, a behavior, right? So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to call it boom. So boom behaviors. So boom behaviors. And I know I want that to be a bullet. So I'm just going to call it as that. So now Mush has a bomb that he is going to be shooting. I do that by going back to my main just to see so everything's fine here. I go to my main sheet. Now what I did not do, but which we should, is what don't you see over here? I do not have an object controller, right? So I'm going to go to main. And I'm going to do input keyboard. So there it is. My keyboard is now added. We're good, right? And I don't think I have anything to do. So now I can go back to my main sheet. I can add event. I know I want to add it by clicking this. I'm going to say key is down. And I'm going to hit next. And I want it to be the space bar, which we know how to do. You just kind of follow all of these. I say done. Then I go to my action and I say, you know what? I want my guy Mush to spawn another object, which is just weird terminology. And I'm going to double click that, and I want him to do the boom. That should be that easy, right? I'm going to come back here to main. I see my guy Mush. I'm going to go to preview. Off he goes. And there he is shooting away there. So if I hold it down, look at it go. So there he goes. And then, of course, I should be able to, so I did key is down. And I want to delete that. I'm going to say keyboard, like on key pressed. I'll do the same thing. Hit OK, done. Let's see what that looks like now. There we go. Off he goes, and he's shooting away. Whoa! So why it wasn't working before, I don't know, but that's really as clean and simple as it is. And the reason that we want this OBJX layer is because we're going to be able to put a bunch of libraries and codes and all that stuff in it, just as kind of that repository, like I said, put our effects on it. And if I wanted to put a new effect on boom, let's see if there's something on here like, I don't know, do you see any? Wow, swirl. Oh gosh, that's weird. Let's not do that. But as you can see, that's how you get things moving. So your idea is pretty much simple. You don't need to be shooting things, but I just wanted to show you how to have this kind of object repository layer that you could then use. Okay?